What's up, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls? Pyrostasis here, and this is my first game in the new series that I'm working on. This is the first Starcraft game I have played since maybe January, and it's probably the first game I've really taken even remotely seriously. Now, I am going to speed this up a little bit just because the whole point of this is mainly to look at the metrics, at least for my series. My series is basically, I'm looking at StarCraft from, I guess you would say, like a sports or a normal training regimen. I am looking to hit certain metrics, certain basics, build on that foundation, and hopefully become a better player through getting my foundation and my basics best. My opinion, if you can figure out what the basics are for a game or for anything in life, and you can practice those basics, get them down, and then start building slowly onto those. It may take you a while to get to where you want to go, but once you get there, you're going to have a very stable base to build on, and you're going to understand the game from a conceptual standard. And then when you actually get into like competitive play, a lot of times your basics and your the strict standards that you have led to are gonna be better than a competition. So for this, we are following a guide off of Team Liquid from Bronze to Masters. I will be posting that guide in the description below. The guy who makes this guide is a Masters level player, and he just recently did basically what we're doing, except he was obviously a significantly better player. We are using it more or less as a guide point. It's not necessarily a strict building order. It's basically just a set of benchmarks and rules. So for Bronze League, our benchmarks are 50 SCVs by the 10-minute mark and roughly fast expanding by 3 minutes and 45 seconds. A side goal for that is more or less to have 100 food by the time that you lead out at 10 minutes. Now, I'm walling in basically here, and I screw up. I have my little supply depots up, so my little guys are going to go wander around. There's no scouting in this because honestly, at this level of gameplay, I really wouldn't know what I was looking at in a scouting anyway. Now, he is playing Protoss, Isolation. He tried something kind of tricky on me. I wouldn't necessarily call it a cheese or anything along those lines, but he scouts me a few times up front, realizes he's not going to be able to get into my base. I end up taking out this probe here in a second. And I guess he didn't think he was going to be able to break my entrance. A lot of Terrans build siege tanks and things along those lines, and just they have a really nasty front door that's kind of hard to break through. I don't know a ton about Protoss, so I'm sure there are methods to break through. I know if you have an observer and you have a Colossi or Colossus, you can easily at range take things out. I made sure to take this probe out because there's a lot of shadow over here. He could place a pylon here, and then with a little vision, he could deploy into my base and then come in and take my mineral line out. The idea of this guide, now if you notice, I'm expanding at 427, so I was about 30 seconds, 40 seconds late on that. That's something I need to smooth out and get a little bit quicker. I had a little bit of an early screw up on a few things, like my 2 SCVs going off and just not getting set up quick enough. So it's something I'm going to need to smooth out. Goal here is to get this up by 345. Now, as you can see, he doesn't currently have his expansion up, which means he will have more units than I will early on, but I will have a better macro-style economy towards the mid-game. And that is the point of my setup, is to build up my macro-style economy and my macro-style skills so that I can just basically throw more stuff at you than you can handle. Constant SCV production as well. I am queuing a few things up here, which is bad. I really shouldn't be doing that. The goal is obviously to just keep your money as low as possible, which I'm doing an okay job of. 400 still a bit high. He does come and try and scout me again. I'm setting up a bunker here, and the bunker is late. I should have had this bunker up significantly earlier before I had this command center going down. This just basically allows you to stop any early rushes that are coming through. Sadly, at this point, it's pretty much moot. Anything he's going to be coming at me at this point is probably going to not have any issues dealing with a bunker. I do transfer some SCVs over. Just helps with the earlier saturation. It also keeps this from mining out too soon and allows me to continue SCV production at both places. You'll notice I do have a slight SCV lead, 2 SCVs at the moment. Not a huge lead, but it does add up, and with the mules, that does, you know, add up to a significant economic bonus. Hopefully over the next minute or so, you'll notice that this is going to get even wider and wider, but we'll see. I do make a terrible mess up here, and I'll show you. I'm going to go ahead and speed this up a bit so you guys can see what I did. I forgot to rally these SCVs. So for 2 minutes or so, I'm producing SCVs and just doing a horrible job. I was so focused on getting my other barracks up, getting them hotkeyed, getting them rallied out here, and just getting a shit ton of Marines that I didn't realize I had all these little guys here. And let's just see how long it takes me to notice. That's like, what, a minute, 2 minutes now? Going on, boom. So it was almost, what, 2 minutes from the time that I built that thing before I realized? So that's another mistake that I'm going to have to get ironed out. That's just huge economically. If the person I was fighting was remotely any good, he probably would have really been able to take advantage of that. Not saying that I'm any good myself, but I do have him pretty much murdered on the SCV count. Now, right here you can see he's going to be trying to come in with a drop. Now, this is actually a pretty good tactic. He's going to be able to avoid my wall in and basically drop right here on this side and then hit my mineral line. However, I've got plenty of Marines to deal with this setup here, so it really shouldn't be a problem at all. And he comes and drops in. I pull my Marines back. I've got plenty of production, so I'm able to re-rally right here. And we clean this up relatively pain-free. And right here in the units lost section, he made out significantly worse than I did. He lost almost twice what I did. I've got quite a bit of production facilities at this point running. I've got an amazing economy running, and you know, I've got almost twice his SCV count, or his probe count. And then he silly tries to just take that War Prism straight out the front gates. Now at this point I haven't scouted, so I still don't know where he is, but I know I need to get some more units out. I was really worried he was going to sustain pressure me. However, he chose to expand on the back of that, and since he chose to expand on the back of that, his continued pressure is basically going to drop off. It's probably not a good idea to hit me like that, lose all those units, and then try and expand off the back of that. That's just my newbie thinking. Honestly, if you're going to devote, you know, 1,400 minerals at that point in time to an attack, then you really need to follow up with that attack and just continually pressure it. And losing that Warp Prism, those things aren't cheap. Now, I knew his Warp Prism had come from the front of my base, so I knew he was either in the top section or the bottom down here. He tried to build up enough cannons to hold me here, but it's just not enough. And we basically walk in the front door, kick it down, and he leaves before he can even say good game. So that is my first game here. You'll notice that my resources at this point in time had just gone ridiculous. I wasn't quite spinning it as fast as I should. The main reason here is I'm not teching. I'm not really investing in anything else. I'm just going Marines. And that's not exactly a good mechanic. Later on, that's really not going to do me any good. And by the time I hit silver, I'm definitely going to have to add teching and a few other things. The main thing I'm focusing on right now is my 10-minute mark. And if you'll see right here at the 10-minute mark, whoops. At the 10-minute mark, I've got 41 SCVs. Now, granted, a lot of them were sitting here idle, but 41 SCVs, that puts me at 9 short of my goal. I want to have 50. And then I'm at 78 food. Now, granted, I am being attacked, so odds are I lost quite a few units in this little fight here, but it hadn't really kicked off yet. So I think I lose most of them up here. So I was a little light on Marines. So I need to be focusing on SCV production and Marines a little bit better, making sure to rally my stuff here and not leave 8 freaking SCVs just chilling. But that's my first game. Let me know what you think in the comment section below. I'm going to be putting up at least 3 or 4 of these a week. And I'll be doing my replay packs on my website, pyrostasis.com. Every single one of my replays there will be there. My wins, my losses, my epic fails like I had right here with my mineral line. And would love some feedback. Let me know what you guys think. And again, just remember, I'm not trying to be the best player here. I'm not messing with teching. It is strictly 50 SCVs and 345 early expand, and then trying to get 100 food and attack by 10 minutes. So let me know what you think of the series in the comment section below. Click that like button if you're liking it. Make sure you subscribe so you don't miss out on any of our other videos. And I'll catch you guys in the next clip.